we are going to use some symbols to work with inequality. This symbol means less than. This, when the sign of this symbol, as if you are looking at an arrow, if the arrow is pointing to the right, it means greater than. Less than, greater than. When you are talking about all the number greater than 3, means that 3 is not in the solution. When you have the equal sign, means that all the number less or equal than. If it's pointing to the left, if the symbol is pointing to the right, you have to say greater or equal than. In this case, when you are going to show the answer in interval notation, you have to use parentheses if you don't have the equal sign, or bracket if you have the equal sign. And when you are going to show the solution on the number line, if you don't have the equal sign, you have to graph a circle empty or a single circle full. There is another way to show that. I will show you when we solve some exercises. Let's start with the property of inequalities. This is the set solution. X and x is less than 3. What does it mean? It's all the numbers in the number line, so that those numbers are less than 3. If you want to represent that on the number line, you go to the number line over here. 0 is in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to the left of 0 are the negative numbers. Now, what will be the solution if you want to show on the number line? You have to shade to the left, because it says that this set of numbers is all the numbers less than 3. You can write a parenthesis here. That means that 3 it is not in the solution. You have to count all the numbers less than 3, not 3. And this is the infinite side. If you want to write this solution in interval notation, you have to always interval notation. You have to read from left to right. You have to copy negative infinite until 3. It's open because 3 is not in the solution, and infinite is always open. So this is the set notation. This is the graphic of the solution, and this is the interval notation. You can even the graphic like that. For example, 1, 2, 3. You can write an open circle, negative infinite, and down, and you have to shade to the left of negative 3, but instead of a parenthesis, you can graph a circle, empty circle, means that 3 is not in the solution. What happens if you have the equal sign? Will be different. You have the equal sign. Let's write over here the equal sign. You have to include 3 in the solution. So you have to make a bracket here, and interval solution, you will have a bracket 2, and here, if you want to express the solution like this, the circle will be full. You have to fill out the circle. And this is the graphic using bracket, using the circle, interval solution, and the set of numbers. Let's solve some property. Property of inequality. Properties. If you have A less than B, this is the addition property, and you add C both sides, A plus C is less than B plus C. This is the property of addition. But property of multiplication, this is a property of addition. Let me write over here addition. The property of multiplication if you have, for example, A less than B and you multiply by C and C is greater than 0, you have A times C is less than B times C. Means that if C is positive, but if C is negative, then you have to do something different. For example, A less than B and C is less than 0 means that C is negative. When you multiply by C, A times C, you have to change the direction of this sign. Could be less than or less or equal than. The only thing that is different is that if the solution is included or not included. If you have the equal sign, you have to include the number in the solution. If you don't have the equal sign, the number is not included in the solution. These are the properties. Let's do some exercises applying the properties. When you work in inequalities, you have to solve in the same way that you solve equation. The only thing you have to keep in mind are the properties of the inequality. Exercises. First one. Solve 3x minus 5 is greater than 2x minus 8. 2x minus 8. Okay, remember when you solve the equation, you leave the x in one or the variable in one side and the numbers in the other one. You can do this in different way. I used to solve this in this way. I am going to change 2x to the left side. So you have 3x minus 2x because it is positive here. When changed to the left side will be negative. And I am going to change the 5 to the right side. Then you have greater than negative 8 plus 5 because you are changing negative 5 to the right side will be positive. Combining like terms aquí, 3x minus 2x is 1x or simply x greater than minus 8 plus 5. Subtract and keep the sign of the largest. The answer will be negative 3. What will be the solution in the set number notation? Will be all the numbers in the set that all of them is greater than negative 3. In interval solution, you have to write a parenthesis because you don't have the equal sign. Copy the negative 3 and it's all the numbers greater than negative 3. It's all the numbers to the right of negative 3. Infinite is always open. If you want to graph it, come over here, set the number line, 0 is in the middle, negative 3 is to the left of 0, negative 3, and you have to, this is 1, 2, this is infinite, this is negative infinite, and now you have to shade all the numbers to the right of negative 3, not including negative 3. If negative 3 is not included, you can represent that with a parenthesis, or you can do that with a, for example, this is negative 3, or an open circle, and shade all the numbers to the right of negative 3. This is infinite. So you have the solution in the set number solution, the interval solution, and you graph the solution over here. Other exercise, and the last one of the unit, for example, solve 2 times x minus 3 parentheses minus 5 less or equal 3x plus 2 minus 18. Well, here you have to apply the distributive property. 2x minus 6 minus 5 less or equal, here distributive property again, 3x plus 3 times 2 is 6 minus 18. Combine like terms, you have 2x minus 11 less or equal that 3x minus 12. Now, change the x to the left side and the 11 to the right side. You have 2x minus 3x less or equal that minus 12 plus 11. Now, 2x minus 3x is negative 1x or simply negative x, less or equal than negative 1. Now, the negative must be positive. What to do? You have to apply the property, multiply by negative 1 both sides, and then negative times negative is positive, negative times negative is positive, but you have to change the direction of the sign, and this will be the answer. When you are going to graph it, you come over here, this is the number line, 0 is over here, to the right of 0, all the positive number, 1, 2, 3, etc. And you have to shade to the right of 1, including, you can include graphing a circle and fill out the circle, or you can graph it in this way. 0 here, 1, 2, etc., infinite. You can graph a bracket, means that the 1 is included in the solution, and shade all the numbers to the right of 1. There is another kind of exercises regarding inequality. For example, solve two x minus 3 less than 5 and greater than negative 1. In this case of exercise, you have over here, let me write an equal sign, for example, over here, and here you don't have equal sign. You need to leave the x in the middle because this is an interval. So you change the 3 from the inside to the outside. When you change the 3 to the outside, you have to change the sign. So you have minus 1 plus 3 less or equal than 2x less than 5 plus 3. Combining like terms here, you have 3 minus 1 is 2 less or equal than 2x less than 5 and 3 is 8. Now you have to divide everything by 2 because you need the x alone. So you have here 1 less or equal than x less than 8 divided by 2 is 4. And the solution for this one is like that. If you have to write the interval solution, that will be 1 to the left and 4 to the right. In this side, the 1 is included because you wrote the bracket. In this side, the 4 is not included because you wrote a parenthesis. On the number line, the solution is like that. 1 and 4. 0 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 here, 4 here. You have to shade all the numbers between 1 and 4, including 1 bracket here and parenthesis here because 4 is not included.